Hi, I'm Lucas, and if you've ever wanted to grow your very own habaneros from seed to harvest, this is the video for you. Today, I'm going to be walking you through the steps it'll take from seed all the way to harvest. This variety right here is called Hot Pepper Lantern. It's a special variety of habanero that ripens to a lava red color, beautiful peppers. I saved the seeds for these plants from last year's crop of peppers, and they're doing wonderful. As you can see, they're ready for harvest, and we're going to be doing that at the end of this video, so make sure you watch till the end. So when it comes to growing hot peppers, especially habaneros, you want to make sure that temperature is at the top of your list when it comes to germinating seeds. So I see a lot of people using the paper towel method for starting pepper seeds. And while this does work, I don't recommend it because it's not really an efficient method. Personally, I start my pepper seeds directly in potting mix. I like to start out with some nice clean seed starting containers, fill it with a nice loose fluffy potting mix that contains things like peat moss, perlite, and this is going to create the ideal environment for germination. But like I said, temperature is your number one focus, and for hot peppers, you're going to want to go with a temperature of between 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That is going to be the sweet spot for pepper germination, especially the hot peppers. So how I recommend getting that temperature is to use a heating mat. This can be purchased off of Amazon or at a local hardware store. They're very cheap. You can get them for about 20, 30 bucks. This is going to ensure that when you're starting your habanero seeds, they're going to be nice and toasty warm, which is what peppers need to sprout really well. Once you have this consistent temperature, you should see germination in as little as a week. It can sometimes take up to, 2 weeks depending on the variety, but for habaneros, typically about a week or 7 days is what you should be aiming for your germination. And the perfect time for starting your habanero seeds indoors is about 10 weeks before your last frost date. So count back 10 weeks before the last frost date in your area, which you can easily find on Google. And then you're going to want to start your seeds, get them germinating. And once you see those first little baby habaneros popping up from the soil, that's when you want to make sure they have a lot of light. Light is another critical factor for successful seedlings. And I personally use grow lights. You can use LED grow lights, fluorescents. There are so many options out there on the market. I've posted a link to a grow light that I like to use in the description below. You can check it out. It's from Active Grow, and this is an LED grow light, which means that it has very high efficiency. You won't be spending a lot of money on electricity to get your pepper seedlings really going strong and getting ready to plant them out. So at this point, you've got your habanero babies sprouting up. They're under the grow lights. You might be asking, Lucas, how long do I have to keep my grow lights on for? Well, personally, I suggest keeping them on for around 14 hours a day. That's what I usually do from about 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night. And this is going to ensure that you're getting the optimum growth, but also giving them a period of darkness where they can kind of rest and regenerate. Just like in nature, plants have a natural period of light and darkness. This is what you're going to mimic with your grow light setup. You're going to want to just keep watering your seedlings indoors. Keep the soil moist, but not sopping wet, and make sure they're green, they're healthy. And at this point, it's all about maintenance. Once the temperatures outside start warming up, as you're starting to approach that last frost date, this is when you're going to start thinking about shifting your seed trays outdoors so that your plants can start acclimating to the warmer temperatures and the windier environment. When you're doing this, you want to start out by leaving them outside for just a few hours per day and gradually kind of increase the time. You don't want to leave them out in the direct sun right away, so put them in filtered light. Otherwise, you could risk sun scald on the leaves. Gradually, you'll build up their tolerance to the outdoor environment. And a key thing to consider here is to make sure that you're watering and checking on the plants, because when the containers are outside, they'll tend to dry out a lot quicker because of the natural sunlight and the airflow. So you're going to want to check up on your containers, make sure they're nice and moist, and just keep your plants growing up to that last frost date. So here where I live in Ontario, I am in zone 5B, and my last frost date is around May 24. But I personally don't like to plant my peppers out until probably around the first kind of week out of June. So maybe around June 6th to 7th is when I will start planting my hot peppers. One of the biggest mistakes I think gardeners make is getting too excited, planting out too early. Peppers love the warmth, and if they're getting cold feet, in their pots outdoors or in the ground, they're not going to like it. They're not going to be growing very fast, and they're just going to kind of sulk there in the soil without really giving you the growth that you think you should be getting. So wait a little longer until the temperatures are a little warmer for you, and this will ensure that your peppers aren't shocked and that they start growing at a pretty decent clip. Once you're at that point where you're ready to plant out, the temperatures are warmer and pretty consistent, the nighttime temps aren't getting too low, this is when you're going to want to prepare your planting site. Personally, I like to use either containers or raised beds for my hot peppers. This allows the soil to warm up a lot quicker. And from my personal experience, I've found that hot peppers tend to do extremely well in containers. This is a great opportunity for any apartment dwellers who have a balcony to get involved in the pepper growing game. You don't need to have a massive space or even some in-ground land to grow your own hot peppers successfully. And so once you've figured out kind of where you're going to plant your peppers, it's time to prepare your soil. For containers, I typically recommend going with a light, fluffy, airy potting mix, and then mixing in some compost to that so that you're adding in some additional organic matter that actually provides nutrients. So a lot of the potting mixes that you'll get, usually they'll contain a bit of fertilizer. In this case, I use something called ProMix HP, which stands for high porosity. And this particular product doesn't actually contain nutrients. So you got to watch out for that. So you're going to want to ask yourself, does this potting mix that I'm using contain any nutrients already? Whether it does or it doesn't, I still recommend adding in some composted cattle manure, sheep manure, or a leaf mold compost mix, and also mixing in some bone meal as well. So there are so many different things you can add to your soil to improve the nutritional value and the structure, but depending on your personal situation, it's gonna vary, and there's not necessarily a right or wrong mix. But the mix I just said is a good way to start out. You can add a bunch of other things like alfalfa meal, but personally, I start with the potting mix, composted manure, and finally some bone meal. Mix it all together, and I'm not super picky with the ratios. Just kind of whatever looks good, whatever feels right. When I'm growing in containers and raised beds, I usually do around 50% potting mix, 50% composted manure. Now the bone meal is going to be a slow release, high phosphorus fertilizer that's going to feed into your peppers throughout the season. Phosphorus is very important for flower and fruit development. It's also important for roots. So it'll help your plants establish a nice solid root structure. And while we're on the topic of roots, when you're planting out your peppers, I also recommend, if you can, try to add in some mycorrhizae. This is a white powder that you add onto the roots, just a dusting, and it's actually a fungi that's supposed to help the roots assimilate water and nutrients. And this will allow the plants to grow a lot quicker because it can more easily uptake these vital elements. And for in-ground gardening, I recommend essentially the same thing: potting mix, manure, bone meal, and also the mycorrhizae, or myco as it's sometimes referred to as. Once you have the soil mixture done, the next step is going to be to get planting. Now it's nice and warm outside. It's a week or two after your last frost date. Things are looking good. It's time to get planting. I really don't have any critical rules for planting aside from be very delicate with the roots. So when you're planting out, you want to make sure that the soil doesn't have any sort of rocks or anything in it, that it's nice and fluffy, and it should be in a container or in a raised bed. But if it's your in-ground garden, make sure you remove any rocks. And the next thing is, when you're taking your plants out of your containers, be very careful not to damage the roots. This will minimize your transplant shock and ultimately result in a smoother transition into the garden. Once you've got your habaneros into the soil, the next step is pretty key, and that is to water it in with a nice mixture of high phosphorus fertilizer. Like I mentioned before, phosphorus is really important for root development. And when we're just planting our plants into the soil, we want to get them growing out as quickly as possible. At this point, you've gone through all the preparation work, the plants are in the ground, they're ready to grow. The next kind of phase is sort of maintenance. So maintain your plants throughout the growing season. Some people like to add support structures to their hot peppers, like say a small tomato cage or even a bamboo stake in the center. That can be helpful, but from my experience, it's not really necessary because these plants, as you can see, they tend to get really nice and mushy, and they're pretty kind of self-supporting. So supports super hot peppers or hot peppers not really necessary. I recommend the more or sweet peppers, but these ones are typically pretty bushy and they don't need it. Fertilizing and watering are going to be the two biggest tasks for your habanero peppers as you're going throughout the season. And so I always recommend, if you can, to install a drip irrigation system. This is seriously only going to cost you, a bit of money up front and a bit of time to install at the beginning of the growing season. And it's going to really pay dividends for the season as you're saving so much time. Another point when it comes to maintaining your peppers is the fertilizing aspect. So I always recommend using a water-soluble fertilizer. In my case, I use Bloom Booster 15-30-15, typically a little higher on the phosphorus side of things. And again, that is for root, flower, and fruit development. So as you can see, we've got lots of fruiting here, and the phosphorus definitely helps with that, helps increase the flower set on these plants and reduces flower drop. It's also important to have a good amount of nitrogen because otherwise your plants will get yellow. And potassium, from what I have gathered, is essentially kind of an all-around macronutrient. It helps with leaves, helps with stems, fruits, flowers. It kind of helps with everything. So it's kind of a catch-all. If your nitrogen is really high and your potassium and phosphorus are lower, this is going to create a very lush plant, but at the expense of flowering and fruiting. And so while nitrogen is a critical element to your plants, you don't want to overdo it on the nitrogen, or you will really struggle to see that fruiting that you're looking for. We're trying to put as much flowering and fruiting on these plants as possible so you can see that kind of loaded down structure that we get. And so if you can consistently water and fertilize your pepper plants throughout the growing season, at the end of the season, this is what you'll get. Some really beautiful habanero plants that are ready for harvest. And yeah, I haven't done too much with these plants over the course of the season. If I'm being honest, I pretty much neglected them. I didn't water or fertilize them as consistently as I should have. But you can see they're pretty hardy. We still got a really nice crop. And again, this variety is called the Hot Pepper Lantern Habanero. Really nice variety, very hardy. And it produces these beautiful lava red pods that are very spicy, but I can actually eat them. So they're not, crazy enough that you can't actually enjoy them. And I'm going to be making some hot sauce with these suckers in a future video. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Also hit that like button. But before you go, I want to get to harvesting some of these pods. So let's get at it. Alright growers, the harvest has been completed, and you can see I got a pretty nice crop here of the Hot Pepper Lantern Habaneros from just a few plants. So in addition to these two container plants here, I also did get some from my raised bed over on the other side of my driveway. Those plants did not look that great, and that's why I didn't show them to you, because quite frankly, I'm embarrassed, but they still did produce some decent peppers. So this is going to go into hot sauce. I'm also going to give some to my neighbor, who is going to give some to his friend in return for something called roti, which I think is an Indian dish. I really don't know much about it, but hopefully it tastes delicious. So I hope that this video gave you some insight into how to grow habaneros from seed all the way to harvest. They are probably one of the easiest crops to grow successfully. I find that hot peppers really don't have that many issues. They're typically pretty low maintenance, but you do have to make sure that you get some of those things right, like germination, planting out at the right time, fertilizing and watering consistently, and getting your soil mix right. If you do all these things, like I mentioned in the video, you should have some really great success with your habaneros. I would love to hear if you have any tips or advice on how you grow habaneros that you found to be helpful. I'm always looking to learn new methods and new ways to grow more successfully. So if you have any, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Make sure to hit that like button. If we could get 1,000 likes on this video, that'd be super, super cool and super hot. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. My name's Lucas, and I'm super sweaty, super hot, and I'm gonna go in the house. See ya.